Hello and welcome to day 133 of our Chronological Bible in a Year reading. Today we have 2 Samuel chapter 11 and chapter 12, and then 1 Chronicles chapter 20. So, without further ado, 2 Samuel chapter 11. And it came to be at the turn of the year, at the time sovereigns go out, that David sent Joab and his servants with him, and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David remained at Jerusalem. Excuse me. And it came to be at evening time that David rose up from his bed and walked about on the roof of the sovereign's house. And from the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very good to look at. And David sent and asked about the woman, and one said, "Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" And David sent messengers to fetch her. And she came to him, and he lay with her, for she was cleansing herself from her uncleanness, and she returned to her house. And the woman conceived and sent and informed David, and said, "I am pregnant." Then David sent to Joab, "Send Uriah the Hittite to me." And Joab sent Uriah to David. And Uriah came to him, and David asked how Joab was doing, and how the people were doing, and how the fighting was going. And David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." And Uriah went out from the sovereign's house, and a gift from the sovereign followed him. But Uriah lay down at the door of the sovereign's house with all the servants of his master, and did not go down to his house. And they informed David, saying, "Uriah did not go down to his house." So David said to Uriah, "Did you not come from a journey? Why did you not go down to your house?" And Uriah said to David, "The ark and Israel and Yehudah are dwelling in booths, and my master Joab and the servants of my master are encamped in the open fields. And should I go to my house to eat and to drink and to lie with my wife? As you live and as your being lives, let me not do this." And David said to Uriah, "Remain here today also, and tomorrow I let you go." So Uriah remained at Jerusalem that day and the next. And David called him, and he ate and drank before him, and he made him drunk. And at evening he went out to lie on his bed with the servants of his master, but he did not go down to his house. And it came to be in the morning that David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, "Put Uriah in the front of the heaviest battle, and you shall turn away from him, and he shall be smitten and shall die." And it came to be, as Joab watched the city, that he appointed Uriah to the place where he knew there were brave men. And the men of the city came out and fought with Joab, and some of the people of the servants of David fell. And Uriah the Hittite also died. And Joab sent and reported to David all the events of the battle. And commanded the messengers, saying, "When you have finished reporting all the events of the battle to the sovereign, then it shall be, if the sovereign's wrath rises, and he says to you, 'Why did you go so near to the city when you fought? Did you not know that they would shoot from the wall? Who smote Abimelech the son of Jerubbesheth? Was it not a woman who threw an upper millstone on him from the wall, so that he died in Thebets? Why did you go near the wall? Then you shall say, Your servant Uriah the Hittite is also dead." And the messenger went and came and reported to David all with which Joab had sent him. And the messenger said to David, "The men have been mighty against us, and came out to us in the field. But we drove them back as far as the entrance of the gate. And the archers shot from the wall at your servants, and some of the sovereign servants are dead, and your servant Uriah the Hittite is also dead." And David said to the messenger, "Say to Joab, do not let this matter be evil in your eyes, for the sword devours one as well as another. Strengthen your attack against the city and overthrow it, and encourage him." And the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah her husband was dead, and she lamented for her husband. And when her mourning was over, David sent and brought her to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the deed that David had done was evil in the eyes of Yahuwah. And chapter 12. Then Yahuwah sent Nathan to David, and he came to him and said to him, "There were two men in one city, one rich and the other poor. The rich one had flocks and herds, very many. But the poor one had only one little ewe lamb which he had bought and kept alive. And it grew up with him and with his children together. It ate of his own food and drank from his own cup and lay in his own bosom. And it was like a daughter to him. And a traveler came to the rich man, who refused to take from his own flock and from his own herd to prepare one for the wayfaring man who had come to him. But he took the poor man's lamb and prepared it for the man who had come to him. And the wrath of David burned greatly against the man, and he said to Nathan, As Yahuwah lives, the man who has done this is a son of death. Also he has to repay fourfold for the lamb, because he did this deed, and because he had no compassion. Then Nathan said to David, You are the man. Thus said Yahuwah Elohim of Yisrael, I anointed you sovereign over Israel, and I delivered you from the hand of Shaul. And I gave you your master's house and your master's wives into your bosom, and gave you into the house of Israel and Yehudah. And if that were not enough, I also would have given you much more. Why have you despised the word of Yahuwah to do evil in his eyes? You have killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and his wife you took to be your wife, and you have killed him with the sword of the children of Ammon. And now the sword does not turn aside from your house, because you have despised me, and have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Thus said Yahuwah, excuse me. See, I am raising up evil against you from your own house, and shall take your wives before your eyes, and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of this sun. For you did it in secret, but I shall do this deed before all Israel and before the sun. And David said to Nathan, I have sinned against Yahuwah. And Nathan said to David, Also, Yahuwah has put away your sin. You shall not die. However, because by this deed you have greatly scorned Yahuwah, the children also who is born to you, the child also who is born to you shall certainly die. And Nathan went to his house, and Yahuwah afflicted the child that Uriah's wife had borne to David, and he was sick. And David sought Elohim for the child, and David fasted and went in and spent all night lying on the ground. So the elders of his house stood up over him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, nor did he eat food with them. And on the seventh day it came to be that the child died. And the servants of David were afraid to inform him that the child was dead, for they said, Look, while the child was still alive, we spoke to him, and he would not listen to our voice. And how do we say to him that the child is dead? He may act terribly. And David saw that his servants were whispering, and David perceived that the child was dead. Then David said to his servants, Is the child dead? And they said, He is dead. David then rose up from the ground, and washed and anointed himself, and changed his garments. And he went into the house of Yahuwah, and bowed himself, then came to his own house, and asked, and they put food before him, so he ate. And his servant said to him, What is this that you have done? You fasted and wept because of the living child, but when the child died, you rose up and ate food. And he said, While the child was alive, I fasted and wept, for I said, Who knows whether Yahuwah shows favor unto me, and the child shall live? But now he is dead, why should I fast? Am I able to bring him back again? I am going to him, but he does not return to me. And David comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in to her and lay with her. So she bore a son, and he called his name Shelomo. And Yahuwah loved him, and sent by the hand of Nathan the Nabi, which is the prophet, and called his name Yedidiah, because of Yahuwah. And Joab fought against Rabbah of the children of Ammon, and captured the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to David, and said, I have fought against Rabbah, and I have captured the city's water supply. And now gather the rest of the people together, and encamp against the city, and capture it, lest I capture the city, and it be called after my name. And David gathered all the people, and went to Rabbah, and fought against it, and captured it. And he took their sovereign's crown from his head, and its weight was a kikar of gold with precious stones, and it was on David's head. And he brought out the spoil of the city, a very great amount. And he brought out the people who were in it, and put them to the saw, and to sharp instruments of iron, and to axes of iron, and made them pass over to the brickworks. And so he did with all the cities of the children of Ammon. And David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. Now we're heading over to First Chronicles, chapter 20. Okay, a little bit of a shorter chapter. Okay. First Chronicles chapter 20. And it came to be at the turn of the year, at the time sovereigns go out, that Joab led out the forces of the army and destroyed the land of the children of Ammon, and came and besieged Rabbah. But David remained at Jerusalem, and Joab smote Rabbah and overthrew it. And David took their sovereign's crown from his head, and found it weighed a kikar of gold, and there were precious stones in it, and it was put on David's head. And he also brought out the spoil of the city, a very great amount. And he brought out the people who were in it, and put them to work with saws, and with iron picks, and with axes. And thus David did to all the cities of the children of Ammon. Then David and all the people returned to Jerusalem. And afterward it came to be that fighting broke out at Gezer with the Pelishtites. Then Sibbecai the Hushathite smote Sippai of the sons of the giant, and they were humbled. And there was fighting again with the Pelishtites, and Elhanan, son of Yair, smote Lami, the brother of Goliath the Hittite, the shaft of whose spear was like a weaver's beam. And there was fighting again at Gath, where there was a man of great size, with 24 fingers and toes, 6 and 6. And he too was born to the giant. And he reproached Israel, and Jehonathan, son of Shema, David's brother, smote him. These were born to the giant in Gath, and they fell by the hand of David and by the hand of his servants. And that concludes our reading for today. As always, thank you for joining. Hope you have been reading along. And peace and blessings and love to you. See you in the next one.